What's poppin' everyone, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Hope you guys doing absolutely fantastic out there today. Guys, Brawl news time. We have a ton of things to get into in today's video, such as this Morse code found in Tar's Bazaar translated to H20 and what I think it might mean moving forward here into the future. We have discussion surrounding two different brawlers, such as Kit and this water brawler around the corner, and a few different really interesting theories generated by the community that I found very enjoyable, such as Belle's relationship with other brawlers here in the game, Colt's mom, perhaps. So hope you guys are all excited. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go! Alright everyone, so we are starting today's video off over here in the Tar's Bazaar environment that was actually reintroduced with the release of this Season 6 update, but more importantly, people found this Morse code that I'm standing next to, the blinking light, and found that it translated to H20. Now, I believe this new Morse code was first discovered by this user over here on Reddit, Jason is Pro206, mentioning that the new Morse code is translated to H20, which then clarifying that it means water. I think we all know that, right? Now, before we get straight away into what I think this H20 means, as well as what most of the community collectively agrees upon what H20 means, I first want to rewind the clock back to when the very first Morse code came out in Tar's Bazaar. Just about 11 months ago, the entire community was enamored by this Morse code found in Tar's Bazaar. The very first person I believe who discovered it or popularized it is Zipper04 here, outlining that it translated to WKBRL. Now, during this time when this Morse code was first discovered, no one knew what WKBRL meant. It was still a foreign thing here inside of the Brawl Stars community. Nowadays, we all know what it means, right? It's synonymous with a live stream that's currently live to this day. And what's even more interesting is while this code was being discovered in the community trying to figure out what this all meant, the live stream was already up and running, going live April 19th of 2020. As you can see a little timeline here of the videos that I made during that time, we have the Morse code basically being discovered around here, and then a few videos later we found the WKBRL live stream the community did. Now, the reason I'm bringing all of this stuff up from 11 months ago is to try to explain the significance of the Morse code machine in Tar's Bazaar. This is now the only second occasion that it's given us something to go off of, the first one being WKBRL, now this second one being H20. Nowhere in between has it given us a sneak peek for a season of the Brawl Pass coming out after Season 1 or any seasons to come, or an update in between those seasons. So based on what this Morse code machine has done for us in the past, giving us kind of lore developments, plot developments with the WKBRL livestream, I went into this new code H20 with the same perspective, not necessarily an update coming around the corner or a season of the Brawl Pass. However, as of right now, we don't have anything bigger to go off of, proving that this might be something bigger than just an update or at the same scale as importance of the first example of Morse code being WKBRL. But until then, the best thing that we have to go off of is pointing to a potential Season 7 of the Brawl Pass coming around the corner being a water park. So by far the best running theory the community has for this code being found in Tar's Bazaar is a water park coming around the corner for a future season of the Brawl Pass, or maybe an update in between seasons of the Brawl Pass. Pointed out very well here by Prank Taco one day ago. He outlines basically the development of all this happening. He first points out at the very end of the Stew update Brawl Talk, Frank ended up saying, "Stay hydrated." He then points out all of this H20 or stay hydrated might have started a very long time ago with this tweet from Danny in October 22nd of 2020 saying, "You had enough today. Drink some water." Now, of course, we don't know the context of this. This definitely might not mean anything whatsoever, but if it is, it's very interesting. This is around the time when we got the update for Amber. He then points out that it might make sense that since summer is coming around the corner, stay hydrated and water could be a very topical thing in the summer, being like a water park or a water park amusement ride, things like that. Then he goes on in outlining the findings of H20 in Tar's Bazaar, meaning water. Then he brings up this notorious picture of the little monster underneath the dock that has been popping up, I would say, almost every single update. When is this brawler coming out? It looks a lot like a brawler that was designed way back in the day, which we will be getting into later on in the video, but it would make sense for a brawler like this to come out with a water update, correct? He then goes on in saying that we have a Supercell Make campaign that is most definitely related to Summer Nita's Summer Splash. He then goes on in wrapping up that the WKBRL livestream anniversary date is coming up on April 19th, and him along with myself agreed that there's a very high chance of new sounds coming around the corner other than we already told you this is normal. Popping up another post here on Reddit by LGA Keldon that's going to help me explain my next point. There is a picture of this notorious brawler that keeps popping up that was designed very, very long ago. One of the very first concept arts for a brawler that might be able to fit into then Project Laser, but now Brawl Stars. And around that time was when the conceptual artworks were coming out for Colonel Ruffs as well. So he was like one of the first brawlers made for Brawl Stars. Transitioning into another very interesting point that might be supporting this water park theory. As you can see, a post here by ABHOR Panda bringing up this photo once again. At the very end of the 8-bit minigame, once you complete it, we have 8-bit standing and looking at the sunrise or sunset at two very interesting things, a Ferris wheel as well as a rocket ship. Now that the updates that represent both of these have come and gone, we can almost confirm that these were pointing to future updates when this was arriving. So we have the Ferris wheel, which I believe represents Season 3 of the Brawl Pass, and we have the rocket that represents Season 5 of the Brawl Pass Star Force. But then this user points out a very interesting point that no one really talked about, and that is the spiraling tubes around the rocket ship, maybe pointing to the fact that it is a water park ride. It makes a lot of sense. I thought the tubes might have been like a fueling station or something like that for the rocket ship, but not one tube actually connects with the rocket. It just spirals around it, and in most water parks you see rides such as this enclosed tubes with water going through it and you can go down it. And hey, if that is the case, just another interesting thing about the photo, though I don't know if it means anything crazy. It looks like we have Season 3, Season 5, as well as Season 7, so we're like skipping every odd season. Something important represented by this picture, I'm not quite sure. You know, at the very least, we know this photo was pretty dang truthful with predicting the updates that have already come with Season 5, the rocket ship, so make sure to let me know what you guys are thinking about this. So the best running theory we have currently for H20 is that it's pointing to either an update that is mid-seasonal or the next season of the Brawl Pass being Season 7, a water-themed update where maybe this water creature brawler will finally make its way into the game, but for some reason I think it's not that simple. Just know your boy at this time thinks that there's something bigger at play here. What that is, I'm not quite sure, and you know what, I could be very, very wrong about this as well. Call it just a gut feeling, but be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you're thinking about all of this craziness. It looks like we're getting into something pretty interesting right around the corner, right? But with all of the H20 theorizing and discussion out of the way, that brings us into the next bit of news for today's video, and that is surrounding another brawler other than the water monster brawler, and that is of course Kit. As you guys know, with the introduction of Squeak, several people realized that Kit is popping up on Squeak's belt or clothing, whatever he's wearing here, right here. So hey, Kit very well could be the third brawler in the Colonel Ruffs family sometime around the corner, and I would love for that to happen. He seems like a really interesting brawler and a great fit for the Colonel Ruffs family. But just know most of the Easter eggs about Kit up until this point have been memes by Danny and Ryan trying to coerce the other dev team members to implement a cat brawler in the game. So whether this is another thing implemented by them or it's actual confirmation that he's coming into the game, we don't know quite yet. And then finally, to wrap up today's video, there are two other really interesting theories that have been going around inside of the Brawl Stars community that I like a great deal. As you can see, a post here on Reddit by Felter 5 days ago. As you can see here, him asking, is Belle Colt's mother, pointing out a few different interesting similarities that he found. They both have the same hairstyle. In Belle's voice line, she refers to herself as Ma or mother, and she also mentions child/son. Also, the skin for Belle that's coming out around the corner here shortly, she has a strand of red hair, people thinking that it is very similar to Colt's hair. Since Belle might be a little bit of an older character, she has white hair now, but maybe before she had red hair. He then points out a few other things here. Both are part of the trios that have to do with the Wild West, and as well as this specific voice line, "This is for you, son. Nah, just kidding." He explains that this line shows that there may be a rivalry between them, expected since she is a criminal and Colt is supposed to stop criminals. So whether this is truth or not, it's very, very interesting to see nonetheless. It's always very fun here in Brawl Stars to see how the characters are intertwined and the story or lore that's in Brawl Stars. And then the final theory we have here in today's video, and to wrap up today's video, we have this post here by STIW640 pointing out that there is a Dinosaur Skull in the newest environment here in Season 6, a Triceratops skull. Now, one of the bigger running theories for a potential season of the Brawl Pass around the corner, starting off when the Invest in Your Future video came out, was a dinosaur type season because of different alliterations to dinosaurs in that investor video and things like that. And seeing a skull pop up is really, really interesting with all of that being known up until this point. Of course, being devil's advocate, this is kind of a Wild Wild West theme. It is like a desert theme, so it would make sense to have like skulls in the background, but a dinosaur skull seems a little bit interesting, but it very well could just be fitting into the environment, right? But yeah, everyone, that's just about it for your news in today's video. It seems with the release of this Season 6, there's a lot more theories and Star Park related lore kind of coming out of the woodwork, so that's always really interesting to keep track of. Again, I'll make sure to keep you guys in the loop on any developments that catch my eye and I think you guys might want to know about in future videos. So if that's interesting, make sure to subscribe. But yeah, everyone, with that being said, have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios, you guys.